What's going on, party people? Welcome back, I guess is the correct term to get this thing started. Welcome back to the 3D. 3D. Sorry, I've been away for a little bit, as usual, busier than a one-armed paper hanger. But I digress. I'm back and I am better than ever. I have recently retrieved my laptop from the fruit store. Everything is good and we are back up and ready to go. If you're new to the show, 3D stands for the Drew Dickinson Diatribe, and the show focuses on one thing, and that, of course, is my beloved Manchester United. So if you're interested, stick around. If not, stick around. Maybe you will be after the show. But we'll go ahead and get started right now. Of course, United come in. Well, before we go any further, right now the Premier League is on international break. I think the break starts today and will run through the 18th. United's next game will be Monday, November 24th against Everton. United currently sit seventh in the Premier League table. Right after, of course, after match week 11, match week 12 will be the game against Everton, as I just mentioned. United have 18 points, along with Aston Villa and Tottenham, who also have 18 points. But with the goal differential, United will sit at seventh place through 11 weeks. It's no joke, or no joke. Obviously, it's no joke, but it's no secret that the season didn't start the way that United wanted, the way that Ruben Amorim wanted it to go. But right now, through 11 weeks of the Premier League season, like I said, United sit seventh with 18 points. But United are riding a five-game unbeaten streak following two back-to-back 2-2 draws. Recently saw United play at Tottenham at the Spurs' new stadium, which is gorgeous, by the way. United got off early. Brian Mbumo from Ahmad back post was able to slot a header in between the right glove and that left goalpost of the Tottenham Hotspur goal. And United, I don't want to sit here and say that they dominated because I don't believe that was the case. But what United did do is they figured out a way to put themselves in a winning situation for more than half the game. And Amarim makes those subs. In comes Ugarte, who just, I don't know what the story is on him. He just hasn't really lived up to the hype to what we all hoped that he would. And I don't want to throw shade at him. I just feel that it's just clearly obvious. Right now, there's something going on, whether it's mentally or whether, guys, look, he just doesn't have what it takes to be a Manchester United player. And I think that whole entire, you know, sentence or whatever gets really, really beaten, to death. He's not equipped to be a Man United player. But look, facts are facts. Maybe he's not. I know Emerim continues to play him, continues to bring him on the field in place of Casemiro. And that's a big point that I wanted to hammer down today. When Casemiro leaves the field, United's quality drops tremendously. It's so obvious, and that's where I come in to say United put themselves in a position to win the game for more than half the game. But then the subs come in, and more importantly, Casemiro exits the game. He can play the position better than anyone on the field, but can only do it for 70 minutes once a week. United need to go into the transfer window in January. If you want Europe, you cannot wait till the summer. And I would hope that it would be somebody with the same characteristics as Casemiro, a killer in the back, and somebody who hopefully can do both. I would love for someone to also help be that ball carrying number eight, help Bruno out, maybe even push Bruno back up to the number 10 position where he's the best and bring Kobe Mainu into the midfield. But I digress. We'll get on to that a little bit more. And Benjamin Chesko, one of the subs that came into the ball game, You can say what you want to say about the kid. It's the same thing that we were talking about with Rasmus Højlund a few years ago. He's going to need time. Unfortunately, Rasmus didn't really work out. And for Shesko, he's got a goal, got a couple goals, got an assist as well, a very important assist, mind you. Missed a big chance. He missed a big chance, but I really want to tip my hat off to Van der Ven because that's a world-class center back making a world-class play that could have legitimately won Man United the game. Hell of a play from the center back. Would I've liked Shesko to score the goal? Of course. Then immediately after that play, unfortunately, he gets injured. And real quick, Harry Maguire also had to leave the game injured as well. I believe I saw him tugging on the back of that right hamstring. So again, I don't necessarily believe that you need to go into the transfer window for a center back in January, but I think it should be addressed in the summer. We'll have to keep an eye out on that. But back to the Tottenham game, as I said, Sesko, he gets injured, and apparently, diagnosis not so bad, not as bad as we all thought. You're thinking non-contact, immediately you think ACL or something drastic. But for my eyes and for my money, I believe that the kid still, being beat mentally by himself, which Amarim has admitted. Sesko is all about perfection, and he's got to understand it's going to take time to adapt to a league like the Premier League, and that's why I take my hat off to Ineos and co for bringing in Mbumo and Cunha because two Premier League pretty much superstars that are already Premier League proven. Sesko, 22 years old, gonna need some time. He did not go on international duty. He will stay at Carrington, and the medical staff for United will keep an eye on him as we go forward. Will he be fit and ready to go for Everton on the 24th? I do not know. Second half, back to the game, second half, not mind the subs. Tottenham were just so much better. And it was another just bad substitution barrage for Ruben Amorim. It's a third game in a row that Casemiro has left the field and United have just bam, bam, back to back conceded two goals. Just mad quick. And I saw pretty much most of the game. Umbumo was playing on the left with Cunha starting at the nine in the middle and Ahmad playing as the right side of number 10. Well, when the subs came on and Cunha came off, Shesko came on, and Mason Mount came on, Umbumo didn't switch back over to the right. He stayed on the left. Would have liked to have seen him go back to the right and continue that partnership with Ahmad, who dropped back to the right wing back position in the latter portion of the second half. Diogo Dallo really didn't make much sense. You needed a goal and you brought on a defender. Again, Benjamin Sesko, just a cameo that I know he's going to want to forget, and I know that I hope to forget very, very quickly. Bruno needs to go back up to the number 10 spot, but what do? You've got elite Cunha, you've got elite Mbumo. It's I guess you can say it's a good problem to have if you're Ruben Amorim. I think you're not getting the best out of your captain by having him play in such a deep role. Matthias de Ligt, currently Man United's player of the year, 91st minute, we see Richarlison just get a little nip. The ball just nipped off his head and snuck in the goal past Lemons, who just miles ahead of Onana. We'll talk about Lemons here in a minute. But Richarlison celebrated like he scored the game-winning goal. And fast forward, 96th minute corner. Lemons even came out of the goal to come up into the 18 to try and tie this thing up in Fergie time for United. And typical Manchester United, boom, 96th minute. Bruno puts it to the back post from the left corner, and Matthias de Ligt sends it into the back of the net to tie the game up for United and end the game in a draw, saving the point with second place on the line, just for a little bit, mind you. But United still saved the point, salvaged it, if you will, and ended the game with a 2-2 draw. what a game it was. Like I said, it wasn't a dominating game for United, especially the second half. Tottenham just turned it on. As you continue to watch the game, you could see a goal was coming. I mean, it was a goal, as I like to say, a goal was imminent in the second half. And then they got the second one just as quickly as they got the first one. But you cannot count out Man United, especially like I said, in Fergie time. Matthias de Ligt, Man United's current player of the year. He's played more minutes than anyone for United thus far this season. And he should be, and he is, United's starting center back. I think when Lissandro Martinez comes back 100% healthy, hopefully get him 90-minute ready by what? What do you think? Middle of December. And the back three for United, I would hope, when everything is all said and done and everybody's healthy, is Lissandro Martinez on the left, Matthias de Ligt in the middle, and of course, the 19-year-old French sensation Lenny Euro playing on the right. Although Ruben does not like to start Euro in quote unquote big games, I guess big games, big six games. You see him putting in Harry Maguire because Maguire's got the experience and the leadership. But hey, look, something's got to give. Euros arguably with De Ligt and Martinez, the three best center backs that we have. But I can't count out what Luke Shaw's doing either. Luke Shaw has come in, done his job. And again, once things are all said and done, I would love to see Luke Shaw to stay in the starting 11, but to be pushed out and play that left wing back where he could dominate with Cunha out there on the left, whether it's Cunha, whether it's Mount, whether it's Brian Mbumo. Remember the damage that a healthy Luke Shaw and a healthy fit Marcus Rashford used to do. Yeah, a little inconsistency on the Rashford part, but Luke Shaw is a superb left back, and I think he would do great things in this Ruben Amorim system. Now, back to Lemons. He has come into this United squad, and he's played fantastic. Yes, a couple of mistakes here nor there, but those can definitely be fixed. One in particular, the Danny Welbeck free kick against Brighton, but United came back and won the game 4-2, so that's okay. But he just kind of like a statuesque, if you will, on that free kick. Couple of stinkers in this recent game against Tottenham. Also, he had some incredible saves that kept United in the game. And for me, what I think the most important aspect of Lemons, the young Belgian, coming into this United squad, and you can see it, it's written on everyone's face, is the comfort level that the back three, the back five, hell, the entire other 10 men on the field, that they can just, I can sense that they can feel such less pressure with having Lemons in goal, other than Andre Onana, who is off on loan right now. And I would hope, I've said it before, I was a big Onana supporter, but not anymore. Lemons is the guy. He is the Manchester United goalkeeper now and for the future. I can only see him getting better and things becoming so much more disciplined in the back as we progress through the season. And one more thing about the United game and Tottenham, I would like to see Ruben do a little bit better man management as far as his substitutions. It's been a few times this season where, and I hate being the couch quarterback or whatever you call it, but you can just see it. Sometimes United are down 2-1 or it's 2-2, and he'll bring on a defender when you'd like to see some sort of offense, or just, if you're going to bring on a defender, make it make sense. As I mentioned before, the Dallo sub just really, it wasn't for me, and I don't think it was for a lot of people either. Dallo just has not been on par with anybody, with a lot of the other wingbacks this season. I like Mazraoui. He was in the starting 11. He's back. He still hasn't really got his footing quite yet. Dorgu, tell you what, Patrick Dorgu, he's raw, he's young, just like Shesko, but you can see the development. You can see he's getting better each and every time he comes on the field. Still think he needs to work on his crosses a little bit. Other than that, he's improving. I don't care what anybody says. I like the kid on the field, but I still think When Martinez gets healthy, Luke Shaw should be pushed out to that left wing back position and give Dorgu a chance to learn. Let him see how it's done. I heard that Ruben Amorim told him to study Nuno Mendes from PSG if he wants to try and become one of the best left wing backs in the world. And I could not agree more. I think that's if that's true, of course, I think that's a great move for United. Real quick, we were talking about January transfers, and I mentioned, I would love for a center back to come, but I would prefer a center back sometime down the road, maybe in the summer or a year from now. See how because Harry Maguire, I believe, just extended. Euro's young. We got Aiden Heaven on the bench. United are pretty solid in the center back area, but I would like a little bit older leadership because Maguire's getting up there and he just can't stay healthy. It would be nice to have somebody always healthy with who comes with some Premier League experience and leadership. But the most important thing for Manchester United in the January transfer window is to go and get a Casemiro replacement. Of course, I still truly believe that since United are only playing once a week, Casemiro should start. But if you can get a young, let's say Elliot Anderson or Carlos Baliba, I don't think Baliba will be available in January just because of the price tag that Brighton will demand. But look, his performance has dropped. It has been publicly announced that he was hoping for the United move over the summer, and he's been boo-boo faced the entire season at Brighton because he didn't get the United move. So, it kind of makes you question, do you want somebody at your club with that weak mentality? Do you want someone at the club who won't perform because he didn't get what he wanted? I hope I'm wrong about that, but it's immaturity, but immaturity can be fixed. But I don't think Baliba will be available in January, as I said, due to the price. But Nottingham Forest, Elliot Anderson, who just received his first call up with the England national team this year, I think he'd be a great addition. I don't think the price tag will be too much. Again, if Ineos are all in, like I think they seem to be, I would love for them to strike some business up with Nottingham Forest to bring in Elliot Anderson. Look, Nottingham Forest sit in the bottom three of the table. They have absolutely nothing to lose here in this deal, especially if they go back down into the championship, or hell, if they somehow are able to stay up. That money could do you good, right? I don't know. I think that'd be a great move for United, and then go for Baliba in the summer and really stabilize that midfield with hopes, and I mean hopes of Kobe Mainu staying at Manchester United. He has been disappointed with lack of game time. I don't blame him. You got the kid who just 18 months ago was shoot, less than 18 months ago, a little over a year ago, starting for England in the Euros in a final, almost bringing home a Euro for England, and now he's barely getting any game time for Man United. Ruben is constantly said he doesn't think that for this system, Kobe is quite ready, but he's working with him, and let's hope that Kobe can continue to be the outstanding teammate that he has been and the outstanding person that he is, and will continue to learn and someday be the maestro of this Man United midfield, which we all, and I mean all, so desperately want. And that is no shade to Bruno, but we all do believe that this season, unless United make Champions League, I do believe that Bruno's time at United will be done here in the summer with Saudi knocking on the door. All right. Well, that just wraps it up a little bit for the 3D. Of course, as I said, Manchester United are on international break. They come back Monday, November 24th, Old Trafford, Everton come to town, and United have had a pretty good track record against Everton lately. Everton, of course, bringing it back David Moyes to the club. Moyes leaving West Ham and coming to take that job. Talk about stability. Everton. Why do I keep saying Tottenham? Everton just opened up that brand new stadium, the Hill Dickinson Stadium, right there overlooking the Merseyside Sea, which I cannot wait to get to. So you bring a little bit of stability in there with David Moyes. Got to watch out for Jack Grealish. I believe that's really the only big weapon for Everton that United need to worry about as far as locking them down. But yeah, United back Monday, November 24th. Old Trafford, Everton comes to town. Looking forward to that one. But real quick, before we get out of here, if you saw my tweet today about the new 3D that will come out, also, I am teasing a brand new podcast that I will be doing with Soccer Down Here, of course. It will be all things England, the English national team, regarding their march to the 2026 World Cup. Of course, England were able to qualify on the 14th of October by defeating Latvia 5-0. Thomas Tuchel has his squad playing very well. The last two games, they were able to score 8 goals. And today, they kick off match day 9 of 10 of the group stage for this is for the World Cup qualifying. They are playing at home against Serbia, where right now in the 66th minute, England have a 1-0 lead. Bukayo Saka able to put one in the back of the net for the Three Lions in the 28th minute. Now, I have a couple of names that I will be pushing to the brass to name this podcast. And I truly, truly love The English Are Coming 2026. And I thought of a new one today, and I love the State of the Union Jack. Only thing I have about that one is that the Union Jack is the flag for the entirety of Great Britain. So that one might not work because I'm just focusing on England. And as I say that, Marcus Rashford, who got the start for England, just substituted out. I believe he was substituted out for Eze. Eze, of course, making the transfer to Arsenal and immediately making an impact for the top team in the league, the Gunners. Right now, the starting 11 for Thomas Tuchel's English team: Jordan Pickford, of course, in goal; Reece James, John Stones, Ezri Konsa from Aston Villa; Nico O'Reilly from Manchester City. The back four, the two holding midfielders, Declan Rice, Elliot Anderson, and playing with the front four, Bukayo Saka on the right, Aston Villa's Morgan Rogers, who just re-upped an extra deal till 2031 with Villa. Keep an eye on Rogers. He is a young, hot sensation. Marcus Rashford starting on the left, and of course, captain starting at the number 9, Harry Kane. On the bench, two players that we really want to keep an eye out for if you're a fan of the English squad. And we talked about a good problem for Ruben Amorim to have earlier with a plethora of good center backs getting healthy. But let's talk about the good/bad problem that Thomas Tuchel is going to have with Jude Bellingham of Real Madrid and Phil Foden of Manchester City. And I have to say right now, Phil Foden is probably playing some of the best soccer I've seen him play. Of course, he's won the Premier League Player of the Year. I believe it was the year before last. Well deserved. But right now, I tell you what, he is playing fantastic. Pep Guardiola, he's found some of that magic hidden deep down in one of those designer jackets. I don't know where the magic was before, but he has got Manchester City absolutely flying. So you got to think, if you're Thomas Tuchel, Jude Bellingham, who is just coming back into the Real Madrid squad after the shoulder surgery, or Phil Foden, who is playing fantastic soccer right now for Manchester City. Here's the thing. We saw Gareth Southgate have both of them on the pitch for England in the Euros and in the World Cup. And you could just see it didn't quite work out because they were both playing in the same space. Phil Foden plays his best tucked in between the winger and the striker. He plays so beautifully, playing right off of Erling Haaland. But Bellingham does the same thing. Two completely different players, but two players who like to play in the same spaces, fill in the same gaps. It's going to be quite an interesting winter and spring to see how Thomas Tuchel develops it. Is he going to be able to have Bellingham and Foden on the field at the same time? We've seen Tuchel masterclass at adapting at PSG, immediately comes into Chelsea in January, adapts perfectly, wins a freaking Champions League, wins a Club World Cup with Chelsea. Thomas Tuchel is a great coach. He can adapt to any and everything as far as, what he needs to do with the players that he has. Of course, today he starts the 4-2-3-1. And don't expect Harry Kane to be removed at all, like whatsoever. There's a couple of players on the bench who I would like everyone to keep an eye out for. Adam Wharton plays for Crystal Palace in the Premier League, playing fantastic. Jared Bowen, arguably, the essence, if you will, of West Ham right now. Still, James Trafford, goalkeeper, who soon, one day, according to Pep, will take over as the number one goalkeeper for Manchester City. Keep an eye on them and Marcus Rashford. I know I've said this millions of times. I'm biased. He's my favorite player right now, playing fantastic in La Liga, playing fantastic for Barcelona. Rashford is absolutely flying. I believe leads La Liga in assists currently. But Thomas Tuchel has said just recently in October, and he said it a few days ago as well. He wants to push Rashford. He wants to push him even harder. He hasn't really come in to the English squad recently had made much noise, but we know it's there. Tuchel knows it's there, and says he's personally challenging Rashford to find that form that he has for Barcelona, find that form that he had in that 30 goal assist season for United in 2022. And if so, I'll tell you what, England recently winning the U21 Euros, the sky's the limit for this English squad. You got a bunch of young, hungry players looking to take advantage of anything and everything. I mentioned Bellingham, Foden, Adam Wharton, Elliot Anderson, who got the start today. Just some great young talent and a great problem for Thomas Tuchel to have. England has another qualifier here in November as time just broaches the 71st minute. England playing Serbia, of course. So week 10, final match day of the World Cup qualifiers will be on Sunday. They'll play at Albania. I would expect a lot of different rotation. I would not expect Harry Kane to play. If he does, I'd be absolutely shocked. I'd like to see Tuchel rotate in some of the players you wouldn't expect to get some time. I'd like to see Jordan Henderson out there. I'd like to see Timothy Chalobah get some minutes and see what he can do and put some pressure on some of these starting fullbacks and center backs for this English squad. Harry Maguire not called in again. Tuchel said there's some players who've done, just a wee bit better than Harry, didn't deserve the call in. So I believe, for my money right now, if England were to go to the World Cup, Harry Kane starts at the number 9. Saka, Rashford out wide. Jude Bellingham, Phil Foden, if he can figure out a way to make that work, whether you play Foden higher and bring Bellingham back down to team with Declan Rice, I don't know. It's going to be so interesting to see, but I want to see Foden and Bellingham on the field at the same time if it can be worked out. I like Gahey and John Stones as the two center backs. Reece James. I like Reece James at the left wing back position, but I would also, if Luke Shaw is able to move out to that position for Ruben Amorim's Manchester United, don't be shocked if Shaw challenges for that spot as well. But on the right side, or on the left side, excuse me. Okay, my bad. Reece James on the right, Nico O'Reilly on the left. I think Nico is one of the best wingbacks in the world right now. More of a true defender, so I can see Nico getting the start over Shaw. And of course, Jordan Pickford, best goalkeeper in England. It's going to take somebody extremely talented to take the pipes away, to take the spot in between the pipes away from Jordan Pickford. Well, it's the 75th minute. England still hold a 1-0 lead over Serbia at Wembley. But with that being said, I'm going to head out and continue to watch the rest of this game. Like I said, England's play again on Sunday the 16th at Albania. I believe it's a noon Eastern kickoff. Unsure of its TV channel destination, but stay tuned to my Twitter account and my Instagram at Drewski Jr. 18. And I'll keep you posted. Well, I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. I know it's an extra long 3D this week, but I wanted to introduce and get people a little familiar with the English national team as they head to the 2026 World Cup here in America. The English are coming. 2026 will be back after the Albania game. So stay tuned. And again, thank you so much for listening to the 3D. And thank you so much for supporting Soccer Down Here. That's exactly where you can find both of these shows. But just like always, Drewski out. Have a good weekend, everyone.